Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, the show for those that hunt with a passion and drink with a purpose. As always, I'm your host, Gus.
I'm Matt.
This week, we're going to recap our trip to Kentucky for the Camp Hero Kentucky American Heroes Bourbon and Barbecue Bash. Give some updates on our whitetail season, drink some bourbon, kind of get back to our roots of how this show started from the get go. So stay tuned.
Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up.
Gus, how is the hurricane over your way? Fresh pop.
It's been ripping and rolling all day today, actually. Kind of, well, as you're aware, it comes in bands. So there's times where I can walk outside and it's actually beautiful, and then within 30 seconds or a minute later, there's 30-mile-an-hour, 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts and rain. About, I don't know, 6 miles down the road, there's mixed reports on whether it was an actual tornado or just a really bad wind gust, but it actually picked up a vehicle on Highway 52 there. I don't know if you could tell where that was at, but coming into Goose Creek, that big intersection where there's a Taco Bell right
I
before
could
you get
tell.
to the
So the video was like just straight rain and wind.
yeah, yeah. So that huge intersection where Red Bank and basically Highway 17, Highway 52 sort of intersect. It was right before that. It just picked that car up and just kind of like tossed it like a little toy.
I'll see if I can quickly find it, but I don't think I can. Do you have Twitter on your? Because I don't have it on my computer.
No, I don't have my computer there.
Okay. Well, if you get on Twitter, you look up Charleston, South Carolina, and hit latest, you'll see it. It was actually, I don't remember the name of the person that posted it, but it said "mom of a lot of greens," and I was like, "Is that my
Oh,
mom?"
that's right. I did see that. That's right.
Yeah, so if you don't know about Hurricane, I guess it's Idalia.
Yeah, Idalia or something like that.
Yeah. We watched it, I watched it live this morning. So this morning, which Gus, I'm sure you had it also at 5:15 in the morning, our phones went off with a warning that 36 hours from now there could be surge storms.
Yeah. So funny story about that. I have the that setting on my phone for like do not disturb. Apparently, it doesn't disturb you if you have even with a warning. So I need to look at that setting because that would
It
suck to
didn't
miss out.
disturb?
No, it didn't. Unless I
Oh,
have them all. Unless I have them all shut off, which I that tone really does a thing with
yeah.
me, and so it's possible that I turned them all off at one point in a fit of irritation.
So mine went off at 5, like 5:07 or something, and I rolled over and looked at my phone and saw weather alert, and I
Uh-huh.
smacked the face of my phone, rolled over, and went audibly, I said, "Assholes." Like, who does that at 5 o'clock in the morning? But, like, I'm finally, like, starting to, like the lights are going out in my head, and I'm finally starting to fall asleep, and then the wife's phone went off, and then I just got up and
Oh,
went to work. I was like, whatever."
whatever.
I was
Yeah,
talking to a guy
nothing.
at work about it because his went off. He has tinnitus like I do, but I guess his is super bad, so he wears noise canceling headphones and just plays white noise all night,
Oh man.
and I told him to buy a fan. I was like, "Get a fan."
Yeah.
But, so he had headphones on, which is linked to his phone. So when that alarm went off at 5, he said he woke up and just threw his headphones across the room and was like, "What?"
I would
Maybe
lose
that.
my shit.
Yeah. So if you don't know, well, I'm sure you know by now, the hurricane struck land this morning as a Cat 4 in Florida, and it's churning its way currently. I think we're probably like 5 hours from seeing anything for real.
Yeah,
You think?
it'll come. The worst will come, I think, for us between midnight and like 2 a.m. So
Yeah.
might stay
Yep.
up, tie one on, and go sit outside and strap myself to a tree and see what happens.
So I'm going to tell you this. So the guy I was watching this morning that was live streaming, he has an app, or he was using an app. I don't know if it's his app, but it's called Radar Omega. And I looked it up. It's $8.99 to buy it.
Okay.
And I was like, from
Okay.
what I was watching with him, basically, like you zoom out on the map and you can pick people. There's people that own the app and they're live streaming their current location with
Oh,
their
cool.
hurricane. Right. So he was like clicking through it all on his live stream, and I thought, I'm gonna get it because tonight I know we have this podcast, then we have another podcast after this one, so we'll be well into like 11 probably before we're
Sure.
done working for the evening.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's 2 more hours, man? Just keep drinking." I might walk down the street and with a with a light and just live stream because you know how it floods by my house. So high
Yeah.
tide
Yeah.
is at I think 10:30, so it should be pretty gnarly here around like 1 a.m. Should be I should be like knee
Oh,
deep, I
yeah.
would guess.
Especially that road that runs right by the marsh there, over by your house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
I also spent all afternoon looking at the neighbor's house. He had
Yeah.
some guys come and give him a quote for cutting the trees back, and they
Oh, yeah?
didn't. So I guess they're coming back to do it. So I sat there with and just watched the tree hit the corner of his house where the soffit is. For those that don't
Oh,
know, your
no.
house comes to a peak and then there's a gap there, so it allows heat to escape. And he has a soffit is what covers that to keeps water out. So I'm sitting there watching this tree just rake it back like a good 6 inches. It's just peeled it back.
Oh, no. As this weather is bearing down?
Yeah, and I mean we're like I said, we're hours away from the storm. So,
Has he done anything to it, to the roof? Has he got up there, put a tarp on it or anything at all?
dude, I tell you this, I did roofing a little bit in high school.
Yeah.
There's no way I would climb that roof. It's too steep at this
Yeah.
age, with no safety equipment. And
Sure.
he was trying to get up there, and I talked him out of it. I was like, just let it go, man.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous. There's no way. It's too
Well,
steep.
it's gonna be a lot of rain, but he's got a hell of a case to, to throw an insurance claim at that company for doing that.
Well, I don't know a lot about insurance claims, but I know named storms, especially in South Carolina, hurricane insurance is not necessarily hurricane insurance. A lot of times, hurricane insurance doesn't cover water or wind. It
Yeah, that's
covers,
wild.
yeah, which is crazy. You would think hurricane insurance would be water and wind, but
Yeah,
it's not.
no.
But anyway,
Did you see behind me what Jessica made me?
huh? Oh, I see it now.
She took she surprised me, and she took I did the rebuild of the workbench.
Hmm.
She took the old workbench top and used that as the background for it. So when you can't see it now, but when you look at it close, you can see all the little drill holes and the circle hole
Yeah,
bits and all the dings, all the how it's gotten beat up over the last 3 years. Just got all kinds of character. I figure
that's
one day
awesome.
when we blow up and we have a big headquarters somewhere, that'll be a cool piece to have in there somewhere.
Our big headquarters in Missoula, Montana, or whatever.
Yeah.
How does she fit that in the laser machine? Because that is
So she
laser.
didn't. So no. So she used the laser to cut out the letters individually, and then
Okay,
she measured
you're on
and
top
placed
of it.
placed the letters. Yeah.
That looks sick. Great job, Jessica. It looks very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
That
it's
would have
pretty
been kick
cool.
ass.
She the weekend we were at the hunt club for when Brian came down from 10th Mountain Whiskey. She likes to rearrange my office when I'm not here. She knows I won't let her do it when she's here, so she likes to
Yeah.
rearrange things. And I came back and she had done that for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a very
Yeah,
cool surprise. It's pretty sick, and it's got character to it, a story, so there's no reason to ever get rid of it.
yeah. Maybe I'll do a live or something, or not. Well, maybe whatever. I'll do something and show all the up close. Like you can see differences in color where like some of the jigs stayed for years, but everything else around it is aged and all beat up, and it's kind of
Hmm.
cool. Tells a
Yeah,
story.
I look forward to that. What are you sipping on? I saw you pour something.
Uh, that Peerless Double Oak,
Nice.
it's good. It's a
I
good
had
sipper.
the guys if so I'm doing a kitchen remodel for those who don't know, but I had from water damage. It's not like I was like, hey, I've got $20,000 to spend. It wasn't that. It's all an insurance claim. But I had the cabinet installers in there, and as soon as they walked in, one of them was like, dude, I'm a huge whiskey guy. I was like, yeah, what's your favorite whiskey? And he was like, whatever's free. I was like, oh, so you're just a drinker, which
Mooch.
is fine, which is just fine. And but anyway, I was like, whatever you want, man. You want to take a sample? And he was like, well, I mean, yeah, if you're offering. I was like, dude, we'll get turned up. I got nothing to do today. Let's go ahead and pop a bottle. And his supervisor was like, hey, at least let him put the bases down before y'all start drinking. I was like, okay. So I knew it wasn't going to happen. But anyway, they finished the install, and when they were done, they were all kind of like standing outside, like they were waiting on something. And I had already tipped them and everything. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we were gonna have some whiskey. I was like, what? You guys want to have some whiskey? And then that guy was like, we got to go to another job after this, so we can't. I was like, it sucks, man. And then his supervisor goes, I'll have a shot. I was like, all right, cool. And then the other two guys were like, well, that's my boss. If you take a shot, I'll take a shot.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
brought him
right.
in there. So I poured all three of them something different. One of them, he was the only one that could name a brand, which is a guy that didn't say anything about whiskey the entire time. But he was like,
Huh,
yeah, I like Wild Turkey. And I was like, well, I'm going to blow your mind. So I pulled out a dusty bottle of turkey for
yeah.
him. And then the other guy was like, what's your flavor profile? He didn't know. So I poured him some Weller 12 and like let him take a picture of the bottle. I was like, one day you'll appreciate it. And the other guy was like, I just like wood. Like I want it to taste like wood. So that's what I pulled down, that Peerless Double Oak, and
Yeah,
gave him
nice.
some of that. He loved it.
That's a good one. Yeah, awesome. Look at you. You
Yeah.
steward you.
Just trying to make the people happy. I also wanted to issue a formal apology to everybody for last week. That was not intentional. We had planned to record as we had
Oh yeah,
left it's travel. It's just
it
you
was
can't just
it was
not
a
let you
mess.
about it.
Our schedules got messed up the week leading up to it, and we were like, oh, and it wasn't even schedules. It was the week before that we had recorded at your house with Brian, and I
Mhm.
mistakenly took all the microphones home.
Yeah.
So we set up a time, and we were getting set up, and I moved what I needed to, and then you were like, I think you have all the microphones, and sure as shit I did. So I had to. We could have brought I could have driven all the equipment up there, and we could have recorded in Kentucky, but
When? We never would
every
have done
time
it.
well, yeah, and every time we do that, it just I don't know, I just feel like it takes away from the event and the weekend,
Yeah.
and so we decided we would just record when we got home. I brought a microphone up there to hand off to Matt, and then they were gonna fly home. Jessica and I drove home, and traffic was bad. Flights were what flights are, and
Before you know it, it's super late and we're just tired. Yeah.
so yeah. So I threw out the recap episode from last year's uh, bourbon and barbecue bash because we touched on it
With Camp
briefly, and
Hero.
then okay, yeah, we touched on it briefly in that episode, and then we talked about some tips and tricks for planning hunts out of state. So it's that time of the year; folks are looking at their tags and getting their results back from drawings and getting their tags and planning those trips. So check out that episode; it's got all kinds of good tips to help you out with that.
Yeah. But we're here now, so we can go over. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do like we'll tell each other's Friday? Because I don't really neither of us really talked about that.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. You want me to
You want to
start?
start or you want me to start?
I'll start. So
Okay.
Um, Friday I had work and kid stuff. Kids had school, so we had to wait till the kids got off school, and then we ended up leaving South Carolina. Lost your camera there.
Oh, sorry.
Um, there we go.
I clicked
Ended
the
up
button.
leaving South Carolina at like 3 o'clock, and so we were like, all right, it's an 8 hour drive from here. So I'm like looking at the GPS, and I was like, all right, it's going to be tack on an hour to whatever GPS says for stopping for gas, taking a piss, grabbing something to eat. So it was 11 o'clock. It was going to be 11:30 before we got there. Um, so we drove. We didn't hit any traffic or anything. It was actually nice because it was nighttime, so there wasn't a whole lot of traffic. But if you've ever driven from anywhere in the Carolinas or southern or southeastern Georgia, uh, anywhere up towards Tennessee or Kentucky, you have to go through the Appalachian Mountains somewhere
Yeah.
along the way. And so we got to Greenville just as it was sundown. It was beautiful seeing the sunset over the mountains, but
Oh, I bet.
uh, driving and who else likes to drive late at night? Truckers.
I was to
So
say drug addicts, but
what's that? Well, that also, yes, true, very true. Um,
drunks,
the so the only part that
ladies of the
sucked about
night.
it was yeah, ladies of the night. So the only part that was not fun was being stuck in between 18 wheelers. So there was a lot of you've driven that road enough times now. It's been under
Oh yeah.
construction, I feel like, for 2 years. So there's tons of stretches along the mountain passes there where it's just there's really no shoulder. It's just those concrete barriers. And so there were tons of times where you're going down the mountain and it feels like you're going downhill, so it feels like you're going faster than you actually are. But you've got an 18 wheeler, I don't know, 4 feet to your right, and then a concrete barrier 2 feet to your left, and
Yeah.
gripping the white knuckle on the steering wheel, trying not to cause an accident. But that it is what it is. We got in late, slept in a little bit, and then um, we thought about it. We talked about it on the way up there. We could have just driven up Saturday morning, but what an exhausting day to drive up and then do the event just to sleep and drive back. But that being said, like we thought about flying also, and the cost was minimally different. But we get when you drive, you can pull over when you want to pull over. You don't have to deal with airports and
Yeah.
baggage, and you can stop when you want to stop. You can drive faster if you want to drive faster. You can take your time if you want to take your time. Listen to whatever music you want to, or
What time did you end
whatever
up
you
getting
want.
in?
Oh, when we arrived around midnight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, around midnight, around what we thought we would, and that's we kind of, we had that expectation. We knew that was going to be the case. It just, I don't know. If I have a long drive, I like starting it first thing in the morning because I hate sitting
Mhm.
around thinking about it all day, and
Same.
it made it feel so much longer because I had been thinking about it all damn day.
Yeah. Yeah. Our Friday, so we had cabinet install on Friday,
Hmm.
which we didn't know when that was gonna end, and then, I had a bunch of stuff to move, and so I had, like, a couple friends come over to help move stuff that live right here,
Hmm.
and, so our plan was to leave Saturday morning, get up at, like, 6 AM and just drive up. That way we weren't miserable going straight from driving to the event.
Hmm.
Um, that was the plan, and then knowing that the floor install took 3 days, and it was like they ended at, like, 6, 7 o'clock every day, and it's just been miserable dealing with it, so which what's funny is, like, we know friends that are, like, legit program or project managers for construction companies. I could
Right,
not
right,
imagine the amount of stress that is. I have a huge respect for those guys just because I had 1 week of that life, so it's like I did everything
yeah,
myself instead of hiring a project manager because you gotta pay him. So it's
hmm,
like bringing in the floor guy, bringing in the countertop guy, bringing in the tile guy, bringing in the plumber,
right,
so to schedule everybody, and luckily, my cabinet guy knew that they weren't gonna finish the floors in 1 day, and it took them 3 days. But
right,
anyway, so all that so, like, on Wednesday or Thursday, I started looking at the trip, how much is it gonna cost, and diesel, which my truck's diesel, so it's like
hmm,
4.30 to 4.50 a gallon right now.
yeah, it ain't cheap.
It's not. So I looked it up, and I did the math on it from here to there, plus an extra 100 miles just goofing around. It
Yeah,
was like $350 is what it was gonna cost me to drive there.
yep,
So I was like, "Let me just see what flights are." And for the both of us, I think it was like 220 a person, and now I'm eliminating 16 hours of driving. It probably would have been
sure,
closer to 18, as you said, with stops and gas. So Friday, we didn't do anything. Saturday morning, well, so Friday, we hung on to some stuff. Saturday morning, we went straight to the airport, um, and we just packed one carry on. So I dropped her off, let her go through TSA or through, regular, because I have pre check and she doesn't.
yeah,
So I let her go, and then I went and parked the car. And then she texted me and was like, "I'm through TSA," and I was literally walking through the scanner machine when she texted me, because
yeah,
when
yeah,
she didn't text me, as soon as I got through the scanner machine, got my phone, she had texted me and was like, "I'm here," and
cool,
or maybe it was right before. I think it was right before. Anyway, um, yeah, so pretty easy. It was pretty, but for some reason it flew us to Philly, so it was a 2 hour flight to Philly and then a 2 hour flight to
yeah. Did you
Lexington.
expect that? Did you know it was going to Philly? Did you know there was a layover?
I didn't look. I didn't look.
Yeah,
I just bought. I was like, whatever. I'll be there at
right,
12:30 or
right,
something. I didn't care. And then that morning, yeah, I was like, "We're going to Philly? That's weird."
right.
It's way out of the way to go
Yeah, it
from
seems super
Charleston,
odd.
South
Yeah,
Carolina to Philadelphia and then
yeah,
to Kentucky, but whatever.
yeah.
So we
It's like
got
it
there
is.
and I was like, "Go ahead."
Well, it's just flying is just strange in general. Like the number of times I've flown to you fly to somewhere on the West Coast and you got to go like up to like way up north first and then go way across instead of going to
Yeah.
like Atlanta or Houston or Dallas first. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
always
you fly
weird.
to Detroit and then fly to San
Yeah,
Diego.
yeah. Detroit
For what?
Or Chicago first. Those two blow my mind. They're really weird.
What I think it
Anyways,
is price. I think it's cheaper, but you wouldn't think it would be cheaper to spend that much fuel flying that far out of the way.
yeah,
But I guess it's just nobody wants those flights. Nobody's taking them.
probably what it is.
Excuse me. I don't know. But so we got there. As soon as we arrived, I was looking at Ubers from the hotel to, or from the airport to the hotel. And it was like 40, I think it was right at $40. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I can get a rental car for $40. So then I was like, well, if it's 40 there, it's gonna be 40 back. And if I were to Uber to get lunch, because we wanted to eat lunch, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at $100 in Uber. So I got on like the Avis app, and we had talked about it while we were there, like traveling for work, getting reward points and all that stuff.
Oh
So I
yeah.
got a brand new Nissan Armada Platinum for $80 for 24 hours, which,
Nice.
like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so I
Only
did
thing
that
he has.
instead. Yeah, and we listened to 90s hip hop the entire weekend.
Dude,
Uh,
Jessica and I listened to 90s and 2000 hip hop all weekend too. We were driving up and we are
did you
just like,
really?
Yeah, I swear to God we did. We were just cruising
That's
through a lot
funny.
of 2000s mostly, but,
Yeah.
just reminiscing, just hearing old songs that we hadn't listened to since we were in high
Yeah.
school, bringing up old memories and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Do you do what I do? Like when Machiavelli comes on and then I'm like, I turn it down. I'm like, or I pause it. I'm like, Machiavelli's Tupac. And I go through the whole thing, like why Machiavelli's Tupac. And then she's like, yeah, I grew up in the same time frame as you and listen to the same music. I'm like,
Right,
oh,
yeah,
okay. I just, you know, I
yeah.
feel like I have to
Yep.
explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, I catch myself, like, I don't know, call it mansplaining, whatever you want, but, like, I get
Yeah.
excited about stuff, and I wanna explain it to other people, and they're like, "Yeah, I know. I've heard the story."
I'm aware. Yeah. I've been there. But anyway, so we had lunch at old, what is OCB? Old County Bourbon or something?
I
OCB
don't remember.
Kitchen, which you and I went to before.
Mhm.
I think something just hit the side of my house.
Nice.
It made a noise. Anyway, we went there. We had every time I go there, man. Like living in Charleston, it's hard to top our food, but
Yeah, we
they
talked
do
about that.
such a good job. Their food is so good. If you're in the Kentucky Lexington area, I'm sure they have more than one. I think they have 3 actually. But you
O
should definitely check it out.
OBC, Old Bourbon County.
OBC, Old Bourbon County. That's what it is. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where
OBC
we met
Kitchen.
the first year that we went up there. That's where you and
Mhm.
I met. Jessica and I met you and Andy there, and,
And
yeah,
I
they all
gave you
kinds
a
of crazy
proposal.
cocktails. Yeah, yeah, right, yeah. That was fun. That was funny.
Was it fun? Did you enjoy it? We don't have to say
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it
it was
Andy
a good
knows
time.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was
people
funny.
that, the wives know what it is. Yeah, I thought it was funny too. But yeah, OBC Kitchen, man, and I went there, so when we went there, like, as soon as we sat down, like, they were kinda slow, and the guy was like, kinda feeling me out. "What are
Yeah,
you looking at?" And I was like, "Well, I really would like to try some of your picks." And I was like, "Do you have anything you picked?" He's like, "Well, he moved and he came back or whatever." And, he was telling me he's got an old pick that he has, but before that, I did, like, a Russell's pick, and then I had one of his picks that he had done, like, 5 years ago, which was pretty cool to taste. And, just having those conversations and, like, really talking whiskey and
yeah,
going in
yeah,
depth, like, what's this? What's that? What do you think about Blue Run? Which was fun. But he collects Blue Run. You know how when you have those conversations with people and then you shit on something, and then they're like,
yeah.
"Well,
That's always
actually,
fun. Yeah, it's
that
always
happened."
fun. Yeah,
But he was really
that's
cool about it. He agreed. He
well
was like, "There's no way they're building that distillery." I was like, "No,
oh,
they're not."
really? He said that? That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
That's really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, but I think people who really are into who understand bourbon and understand whiskey in general, I don't think most of them take offense to, right?
No.
Like, if you don't like something, you just don't like it, and it's okay. Like, if I like something,
Yeah.
that's my thing, and if I have the whole lineup and I have, picks from this
Mhm.
year all the way back 10 years, that's just my thing. If you don't like it, shit on it all you want. I'm still gonna go home and drink it.
Yeah, it's fine, and everybody's palate's different, so it is what it
Sure.
is.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
always fun.
so we got back to the, hotel there, and I hit you up, and y'all had been you guys went to lunch, had been day drinking a
Yeah,
little
it was
bit.
fun. Yeah, I went to some local spot. I cannot remember the name of it still to save my life, and
What makes it a local spot? I wanted to ask you that when you were
so
there.
I
When you
yeah,
told me this right there.
good point. And this is something that, Jessica and I, when we travel, I say local spot because it's a place I've never seen or heard of before.
Mm, yeah.
Um, it could be a chain, but I didn't think it was. I've never heard of it. I've never
Oh,
seen
you
it
meant
before.
local as though locally owned.
Yeah, locally owned. Like,
Okay, okay.
it's a place that we don't have in Charleston or South Carolina. I've never seen in
Yeah,
any other state. I've never heard of it before. We had to look it up
yeah.
and see, like, what they even serve there.
I thought you meant, like, all the locals go here,
No, 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 no,
but I got
nothing
you.
like
You meant
that. It was
locally
like
owned. Yeah,
yeah, it was like I'm trying to think of what you could compare it to. It's just like in a typical American restaurant. They had,
yeah.
kind of this wood cabin sort of
Like
feel
Dookie's
to it.
Barbecue.
Yeah, right. But it was, TVs, in one main section, kind of, and the TV sprinkled throughout with some sports on. They had a decent bar, some outdoor seating, and they had everything from burgers to tacos to salads. Just
Yeah.
just a regular array. We had these. I will tell you. I'll look up and find out the name of it. Next time we go up there, we'll have to stop in. They have this appetizer that are these croissants. Um, are you still there?
Yeah. Oh,
Your
how do
camera
I
keeps
keep
going.
doing that?
I don't know what you're doing, but
I
I
keep
keep
clicking
moving.
it.
Oh,
Sorry. I
oh,
keep clicking it. I
oh.
don't know how.
Are you hitting something on your keyboard?
I'm guessing. It's Control E.
Oh, weird.
I don't know how I keep
Anyways,
doing it. Maybe the
it's this
mouse is going out.
it's this platter of, like, hand size, like, croissants, and they come
Wow.
out hot, and they're drizzled with this like honey, like maple honey syrup, and then sprinkled with I think it's walnuts.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
I could have eaten like 2 plates of those for my
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah, it was
Fat Boy
fucking
Saturday,
good.
bro.
Yeah, for sure. Let me tell you what, I felt so bad eating those, I ordered a salad for lunch.
That makes sense though. That's some shit
Yeah,
I would do for sure.
yeah,
Like,
yep,
well, now I did that. Dude, I watched a documentary on the way there. I know we're trying to get to the Camp Hero thing, but I watched a documentary on the way there about s- uh like our food, which
yeah,
I shouldn't do because you know how my brain works.
sure.
And they were talking about E. coli. They were like they've pretty like for E. coli for meat, for beef, they've
Yeah,
pretty much stamped it out. Like everything has to be tested. There's no E. coli in the beef. They find it, they kill all the cows, like everything's it's sad. But the chicken, they're like, oh, well, if it's got salmonella in it, we just assume it's up to the consumer to cook that shit out of it. Like, don't eat raw chicken. That's why they always tell you, like, don't eat raw chicken. So they don't really, they're not held to any standard. But
that's funny.
romaine lettuce
Is the
has E.
worst.
coli in it. Well,
Yeah,
it's across there's two places in America where they grow romaine lettuce, and they're both of them are across the river from a cow, like
yeah, makes
massive
sense.
cow farm, like a
Yeah,
cow pen, like we saw in Colorado when we were driving there.
yep,
Um, but yeah, like, and so they're interviewing like, everyone left
right,
or like everybody that's pro con, people that work for the FDA, like everybody.
yeah,
And they're like, what's the only thing in the grocery store you won't buy? And all of them, romaine lettuce. You won't
yeah,
buy it.
yeah, I do, I'm telling you, you can ask Jessica, we've had this, there have been 3 different work trips where I have eaten a salad and I have gotten ridiculously sick.
Well, the thing that scares me, like, I don't care about getting sick, whatever. Like, food poisoning, I've had it. I'm going to have it again one day. I'm going to have it in November, like for an entire week when I go to Mexico, but whatever. But this E. coli thing, it kills people, and it
Yeah,
shuts down your kidneys, dude. You can't. It's hard to come back from that. But there's people that get sick and they're on dialysis for the rest of their life because they ate a salad.
yeah, hard
And I'm
pass on
like,
that.
I'm gonna
I've
pass
mostly
the
stopped
salad.
eating salads, so it actually surprised Jessica when I ordered it. She was like, "Are you
Yeah,
sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling a salad today," and I did, and then I was like, "Oh
I had
man,
these giant butter covered croissants. I need a
dude, those
salad.
things had to have been 500 calories a piece. It was wild."
That means they were good. That's all that
Yeah,
means.
and then of course to make a a super healthy um, decision sandwich, I washed that down with a. It had to have been a I don't know a half gallon like mason jar that was it was all clear liquors with like a little bit of Sprite and a little bit of lemonade. It was like triple sec, vodka, rum, gin, and like 2 other things.
It was a
And
Long Island Arnold Palmer.
it was a Long Island lemonade or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Crazy.
And yeah, I housed that, and then she was like, "We should go do some shopping." I was like, "You set me up," because now I
Yeah,
can't say no.
spend it.
She knew what she was doing.
That's funny. So we got back to the hotel then, and I had hit you up, and you were like, "Dude, just hang out with us." And I was like, "I don't want to interrupt, mommy, daddy away from the kid time." And but you said, like, we're just old, tired,
Just
drunk
old people
adults or something.
upstairs watching TV,
That's what it
riding a
was.
buzz, man. It was just
Yeah.
it's
So we
all
came
good.
down to the hotel bar and we were drinking and doing some people watching, and we had a in-depth conversation about hotel people watching. It's one of the best. If you ever stay in a hotel,
So
just
much fun.
do yourself a favor and spend 2 hours at a hotel bar. You'll see the
Yeah,
wildest shit everywhere. I've never not had it happen.
it's fun, man. The lobby, and especially big, that a resort like that, you have so many
Yeah.
different events going on at one time. And just from listening to conversations, like we knew obviously of our event that was there. There was a wedding going on. There was a horse riding competition that was going on close by. So there were riders that were staying there. There was a soccer match, like a semi-pro soccer match going on. So there were 2 soccer teams in the hotel, and then there were all the
Wow.
people that were staying there playing golf at the resort. There were is a
Yeah.
ton of different types of people there. So it was really like
It
the
was
bars
wild.
are definitely like a melting pot of different people and personalities.
You really get to see the like get a pulse of America, and you're like, these people are pieces of shit. The vast majority. We can say that because no, we weren't talking to anybody. Anyway, so then we went and went to the barbecue. Went to the
Yeah.
I always forget what it's called. Bourbon and Barbecue Heroes Bash. Is that right?
It is the American Heroes Camp Hero, Kentucky American Heroes Bourbon and Barbecue Bash. It is a
Yeah.
mouthful.
Long name, but what it is Camp Hero. You know, charity that we support because it's 100% volunteer. There's nobody there that's paid a salary. And that is our big gripe with a lot of charities. Most of the CEOs are making crazy money. There's a lot of people that support in our industry, the Folds of Honor, where the CEO makes 600, I think it's 670 or $680,000 a year. We could fact check that. We'll just call it over $500,000 a year. So in our case, where I don't make do you make $500,000 a year, Gus?
No,
Yeah, me neither. So
I don't think so.
I'm not, I don't see the need to give that guy any of my money. But Camp Hero Kentucky is 100% volunteer, and anyone that asks us where can they donate to a charity, well, that's one of our favorites. We have a few you can pick from, but that's definitely one of our favorites. But anyway, we love going to this charity event. We sponsor it every year. We were silver sponsors this year, bronze sponsors. I don't know. We were sponsors this year. We had our name on the thing, which was cool to see your name on a thing at an event. And they auctioned off a lot of bourbon. There was a lot of bourbon there. One of the packages was $5,000 in whiskey. There was just one package that a guy won.
That's a lot.
But we came in and it was hot as fuck.
Yeah, it was really hot in that room, man. For a hotel with huge industrial coolers and HVAC systems, you'd think they could have pumped some more air in there. But
some paid for air in there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of bodies in that room, though.
There was a lot of people
packed
there.
them in there for sure,
and it was a great time. From everything from the DJ, and I don't mean that's probably a dumb way to start because I don't want you to get the impression that it was like a dance club, but the guy playing music. As the event started, to the speakers, to Rocco, to the giveaways, or not the giveaways, to the auctions, to the auctioneer, some of the stuff you could get to win. I mean, he had the entire, not that we're Blanton's people, but he had the entire Blanton setup, which I think they said was 5,000, but they had the Blanton's honey barrel, which for those that don't know, there's no honey in that. It's just that's their honey, that's their sweet spot in the warehouse.
Right.
So Rocco gave us a sample of another bottle. And Gus, what did you think about it?
Yeah, it was great. Fucking asshole. It was, he handed me a bottle with I know, a few drops. Like I was able to I don't know if you did it on purpose. If you knew I was going to have to,
I did it on purpose.
Tilt my head back and I was going to have to,
yeah.
So
you dropped it straight down your throat, 137 proof.
Yeah. 137
straight
proof.
down your throat.
Mind you, 2 days before this event, I kind of started getting this cold. So I'm congested and my throat's all raw from coughing. And that shit hits the back of my throat, and I start coughing, and my eyes are tearing up, and like a big
right in front of everybody,
pussy in front of everybody. It was great.
Yeah, this is Whiskey and Whitetails guy can't drink 2 drops of bourbon
without liquor. It was fun though, man. They gave away, not gave away. I keep saying that they raffled off and auctioned off, I think 4 or 5 different guns, numerous paintings, all kinds of one of one. Pieces of art and things like that, a number of different hunts, everything from gator hunts down to Florida to guided whitetail hunts in central Kentucky, axis deer. Was it axis deer? Not axis deer.
It was coos deer. No, not coos deer.
Sika deer.
Sika deer, yeah, Sika deer.
Sika deer up in Maryland. Tons of guided hunts. Those things go for, they're not cheap, but when you bid on them, if you got the cash to grab one of them, you get great deals on those hunts at these auctions, and the money all goes to a great cause. So,
you'll spend a little more than you normally would, but also some of these hunts. I mean, if you were to try to do it yourself, if you were to try to go on that Sika deer hunt, I mean, shit, man, to find somebody to show you where they are, you would probably pay what that went for at auction, and this covered room and board, everything. You had to pay for your own flight, I think. But outside of that, it covered everything else.
They have a great silent auction, which is fun because a lot of people kind of sleep on the silent auction and things go unnoticed. Like you guys won something, right? Didn't you win something?
The secret is most silent auctions will have the auction item there. And it'll be like this big thing with a thing and you bid on it. This one, Andy found it. It was kind of my wife. She found it was kind of set along to the side. And there was nothing. All it said was Kentucky Derby, or not. It wasn't Derby. Kentucky. It was Churchill Downs box seats for 4 people or something. Which that package for the full day is like $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah,
but it was sandwiched in between 2 other auction items that had a picture and some whiskey and a bunch of stuff with it, and then it was just in there in between. And so nobody even looked at it. So we got it for I think $125 or something.
That's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
the
there's
secret.
and there's all kinds of those things. There's a lot of
Yeah.
little pieces, little things that get lost. Though, when you walk through those silent auctions, there's usually a lot of big pictures and big stuff like you're describing that are propped up and are really eye
Mhm.
catching. And you'll find little things like what you described. You'll find little pieces of like nice jewelry. I'm talking diamond jewelry
Yeah.
that have been donated, and so whatever they get for it's whatever they get for. But you can get some of this stuff for a couple $100 that you'd pay thousands for in the store.
Like, what's a, like 4 grains of sand squeezed together into a diamond into a nose ring? What's that cost these days?
Fucking like $240
Right, so there was a
around that.
diamond ring up there, like a man and a he, she, a she, he. No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Let me step that back. A pair for male and female,
there you go.
or no, a pair. Jesus Christ, there's no way to say it. I can't say husband and wife.
You could
Whatever. Fuck it. Leave it in the comments. There was a pair for a man and a woman to have a wedding ring set up, and they were diamond rings, and they were cheap. It's cheaper. I mean, it was I don't know that it was. Did you look at it? Am I talking my ass? Was it real diamonds?
Are you talking about the pair that was to the left of the main stage in the
Yes.
box? In the box,
White
yeah,
box.
it was sterling silver and cubic zirconia. I checked it
Oh,
out.
okay, okay, all right. So I saw that it went really cheap, and I was like, dude,
Yeah,
that's crazy. I wish I had bid on that. I didn't
yeah.
know it wasn't
Someone's
real.
gonna propose with that and just let someone think they hit it big.
Isn't it weird that women, whatever?
Dude,
Isn't it
go
weird
on.
that, like, whatever, dude. It is what it is. And it went weird for me in my life. Women want, even then, now I'm in trouble with my wife. I say that. Isn't it weird that women want to have real diamonds? Like, what do they care? I don't understand. Because the
Yeah,
whole thing about it is like wearing it, and people go, "Ooh, ah." So like cubic zirconian, like, you know, I get it. We've been married 10 years. She deserves a diamond ring. That's
sure.
not a problem. But out the gate, bruh,
Yeah,
like I mean, what have you really done? You've been dating for a few years? Like, why do you deserve you're probably gonna end up divorced anyway because the divorce rates are super high. So, like,
they're
why would
super
you
high.
spend $10,000 on a ring for a chick you may not
Yeah,
have it? You know,
I don't know. I'm gonna be getting something. Our
I
10-year anniversary is next year, and
oof, sucks. Better
yeah,
you better start working nights, bruh.
doing all kinds of stuff. Trust me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I had to finance my 10-year, wedding gift
yeah, well,
for, like, 9 months before I even gave it to her because I wanted to make sure that I had at least half of it paid for.
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Hey,
The
it's life.
things we do.
Yeah. No, we love our wives. Everything's fine. So the dinner, raised a bunch of money, had a great time. You guys peeled out
Yep,
after it was over because you had a long drive back.
yep.
I fortunately didn't have to get up until 11, I think.
Nice.
It was nice because I went out on the back patio and I did what I do when I drink too much.
Which is,
You guess.
uh, you peed outside.
Now, talked a bunch of shit to a bunch of people and
Yeah.
made good connections, I actually made some solid friendships, I think. But
Oh,
I
that's
told a
good.
lot of people a lot of stuff. There was the Camp Hero guy that does he's like the guy on Joe Rogan podcast. His name's Mike, and he does all that cybersecurity stuff. You know what I'm talking
Okay.
about? There's a guy like that with Camp Hero.
Oh,
He
okay.
does
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
private contracting security stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So we ended up talking about a lot of stuff. He was asking me about the Chinese weather balloon
Oh, yeah.
situation, some maybe like some forest fires that have been caught on fire. We were talking about stuff like that, just nothing serious, man. Just
Yeah,
drunk
just
talking shit. Then I have sitting out there with a firefighter. I'm not gonna say his name for many reasons, but we hit it off, dude. Like had great conversations. He was forced into the vaccine. We talked a lot about that, and like what that's done to his life and
yeah,
how he feels now, and like being around all these people and the things he's done with himself. And he started a window cleaning business, which hits home for me because I have 3 friends that own window cleaning business, and all 3 of them are doing fantastic in life.
yeah.
It's just hard work, man. You got to find clients and do a better job than the other guy.
Right.
And I'm almost like, I might just give it all up and start cleaning windows.
Service, man. Service industries, it's
Dude, they're crushing. All the people I know that have a window cleaning business are crushing, like
yeah.
absolutely murdering, just money
They're
left and
just
right.
there are just essential services that companies pay for without
Yeah,
question. They don't question it. It's just this has to be done. Here's a check.
and I'm not
All
going
you
to
have to
say
do
good.
well, just all you have to do, like you said, is do a little bit better than the other guy or
Yep.
provide some sort of service or uh, relationship that is better than the other guy, basically.
And there was a guy that I met that kind of is in the same industry. I don't want to give too many details away because I shouldn't even be talking about it. So I'm just going to just say it in generalities. But him and his wife were making so much money a year, tax bracket,
Yeah.
income tax, etc., so on and so forth. So what they ended up doing was getting a divorce. They still love each other. It's not like they divorced and separated. They got a divorce, so they're no longer connected to each other
On paper.
on paper. And she quit her job and she's working like kind of a cash deal for him.
Yeah.
So she gets paid this cash and he's getting paid through his job,
Right.
whatever. And so she doesn't make whatever the minimum is. Like she gets paid on salary, but doesn't make enough to get taxed each year,
Right. Yeah.
and then gets cash tips on top. And it's nothing
Nice.
illicit. It's like a normal business. Um, but now they're bringing home exponentially more than they were both working normal
Yep.
jobs, paying taxes, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. But it's crazy to hear that because, like, this day and age, man, I mean, I'm struggling. Everybody's struggling. It's just crazy how much everything costs. And
Yeah.
when you see where your tax money goes and then to watch people find a way around it, I love it.
I love it too. I like it's like you just want to give a slow clap.
Hmm.
Like, good for you for figuring that out a way. And then it makes me sit around and Google and look for loopholes and ways around shit.
Well, I've told my wife, I'm like, what does it really matter? I mean, what do you care? And for us, it wouldn't, the cost benefit, there isn't one. But
Yeah.
because she makes more than the non-taxable thing. But like if I had kids, I'd get a divorce immediately, and she would. I mean, I'm just saying. But you know, it's your relationship is your relationship. Who am I to sit here and say someone should do something? I'm just saying for me,
Sure.
it would be very easy conversation. Like we just get a divorce on paper, we deal with the whatever. Don't even tell anybody. Nobody needs to know. It's nobody's
Sure.
business. And we have a weird relationship. We got a divorce, but we still live together. Stay together for the kids or whatever. But there was a tax income benefit from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just funny to see the ingenuity that people have. Like, there's a lot of stupid people out there, but there's also a lot of smart people, and they
Oh,
think
for
of
sure.
things that I would have never thought about. I would have never thought
Yeah.
get a divorce.
Some of the smartest people that I know are not necessarily the book smart,
Yeah,
master's degree, PhD degree,
yeah,
type thing. They're just they're street smart. They've learned
gang
how
gang.
to survive, learned how to play the game.
Oh, I said I did it upside down.
There you go.
There we go. I don't know what that means, but I see people talking about it on Instagram. Well, they're part of the Is that Illuminati?
No idea what that means.
I don't
No
know.
idea what you're
I
starting or
see
what
like,
you're.
well, I see people like on TV and they're talking like this, and they're like,
Oh,
they're holding their
maybe.
hands like that, and then all the
Yeah,
comments are like, "Oh, New World Order," blah blah. You know, I don't know
maybe
what it
that's what it
means,
is.
but I think it's a hand symbol for whatever.
Could be. Excuse me.
Could be. But yeah, the dinner was amazing. Raised a bunch of money. The speaker was good. A little long winded, but he had a point to put out, which is fine. And I enjoyed it. Rocco's speech was great. Rocco's hurting but
Rocco was a
doing
little.
well.
Rocco was a little more unhinged this year than he was previous years.
He was in a lot of pain this year, and to watch him sit there and sweat and work through it,
Yeah.
inspiring, man. It's inspiring. You look around at people that are, "Well, I don't feel good. You know, I'm
Right.
sick today. I'm not coming to work." But to watch a guy sit there, basically his entire body's aching and he's sweating because he can't control his own temperature and he's a ton of pain. He had a walker.
Yeah.
Walker. He
Yeah.
could have easily been like, "Hey, Johnny, why don't you hold on?
Here's Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, what?" Because his name is Johnny. "Hey, Johnny, why don't you?" I'm surprised I remember that because I lost the cover for it. Why don't you run the event for me? I'm in too much pain. I'm going to lay in a hotel room. Nope. He sat there. He
Yeah.
even
He did.
helped load up the trailer before he left that night.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. That dude's he got something that most people don't have.
That's
Good
true.
dude. It's
Yeah.
great charity, great organization. Love it, love it, love it. And then Sunday, what time did y'all get up?
We got up at it was like 6:30. 7 o'clock, I think it was. We were out of there a little bit before 8. We were on the road. We got home right around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Nice.
Yeah, easy day, easy drive back. The drive back went by much quicker than the
It always does.
than the drive up there. But yeah, it was super easy, laid back. We stopped at a grocery store in Ingles and grabbed
Nice.
something from their deli instead of stopping for fast food. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good drive. We you know, parents, it's hard to have conversations sometimes without getting interrupted all day with kids or other things. And so it's nice to have a, to
That much
you
time
would
together.
seem like 16 hours, wait, just in a
Yeah.
vehicle driving. It was nice to be able to talk about things and work through things and bring a notepad and jot things down, plan things out. We haven't had a chance to plan out things like that. So it was good. It was nice.
That's awesome, man. I always love, like, we do a lot of stuff, and I always love when the wives are able to come because
Yeah, me
of a
too.
lot of reasons, but definitely just the getting out of the normal area and kind of seeing stuff. But it's also good for them to see kind of like what we do, and this when we're gone, this is kind of what we're doing. We're gone. We're having fun doing
Right.
this and that.
Yeah. It's good for them to see it as well. I believe. I
Yeah,
agree.
I like it. I enjoy it. Love it. Yeah, I flew back, so we had a pit stop in Philly again, and I had a bit of a layover due to airline things. So we were walking, and as we were walking, we both kind of were talking about the last time we came to Philadelphia, not the flight before, but like when we actually went there, and we were talking about cheesesteaks. And I have
Okay.
this theory about cheesesteaks, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is my theory for me. I think when you think about a cheesesteak, I think you have this idea in your head about a cheesesteak, and I don't
Yeah.
think that really exists. I don't think
Oh,
it's
okay.
possible to do it. You know what I mean?
Really?
You ever had a cheesesteak and been like, "This is it," or you're always like, "Well, I had one before; it was better."
I guess I guess I've never really had one that just made me say, you know what, this is the
Yeah,
standard from now on.
that's my point. That's why I
Yeah.
don't think they exist.
Because they're
So,
all
and
different.
they are, and for all
They're
the
all
people who are like, "No,
drastically
you
different.
haven't had," I have. I've had. If there's a place in Philadelphia that sells cheesesteaks, I've had a cheesesteak there. But this particular trip, we went to Luke's, which is better than Gino's in my opinion. And so I went to Luke's, and I mean, if we take a picture of something, put it in our story, and tag a company, 100% of the time they repost it.
Yeah.
Luke's did not repost it because that cheesesteak looked like shit. And so then we, you know what I mean? We weren't happy. So we went to Gino's and got a Gino's cheesesteak. Granted, we're in the airport. We're not at the actual, but I'm just going to tell you it's on par with what I've gotten at the physical location. So went to Gino's, got a cheesesteak there. Same thing. Like the story. They said, thanks for coming in or whatever they said. No
Yeah.
repost. But they repost anyone that tags them ever, but they didn't repost ours because it looked like shit.
Hmm.
But anyway, is what it is. I don't
Quality.
believe that the cheesesteak in your head exists. I've never had it. And I've had all the cheesesteak. Everybody's like, go get a cheesesteak here. I've never had a cheesesteak like the one in my head.
Yeah.
Even if I try to make it, I can't make it either. So I'm not saying like y'all suck, and I'm
Sure.
just saying I don't think it
Yeah, yeah.
exists. I don't know.
Well, I hope
Just
I
a
hope that
thought.
I hope you find that cheesesteak one day, man.
The cheesesteak in the sky.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah. I might start the church of the cheesesteak, and then I don't know. Because the thing is, like Cubans, like I love a good Cuban, so I perfected, in my opinion, I perfected the Cuban, and I've had
Yeah.
multiple people eat my Cubans and be like, "This is the best Cuban I've ever had," and then they'll send me pictures of Cubans that they've eaten
It
as life brings you Cuban sandwiches. And
happens
they're
all the
like,
time.
"Not good. This isn't it. Like yours was better." And I'm like, so the
And
fact
you
they took the time out to text me that my Cuban was
says
better,
that says a
it's
lot.
true. Yeah,
And what people should know, and I don't know if we have enough time to even go over the whole process, but you take like 3 or 4 days to cook that thing.
I do, and I'm going to tell everybody how to do it. It's not that much time actually. It's very easy because I stole it. If you Google Chef Show, so Chef Show was a TV show. They also made a movie called Chef or something like that. I don't know what it was, but anyway, if you Google Chef Show cheesesteak and you click it, they're going to tell you how to make
Cuban,
or not Cuban, excuse me.
Cuban, yeah.
They're going to tell you how to make it. Now in there it says slice up the mojo pork. Okay, you got to click that link. That will take you to the mojo pork recipe, which takes 48 hours to make. So you make a huge. It's expensive. It costs a lot of money. It's like it costs like $300 to make these Cubans. So, but it makes a lot of food. So you got to have like people are coming into town. You got to make it for everybody.
Yeah, make it
So
a thing.
you got to get the pork, and I go to an actual butchery and I get like an actual pork shoulder from a butcher I trust. I don't buy anything from like Food Line or Publix. And then you have to brine it, and it sits in a brine. The brine's expensive. It's a bunch of ingredients, and then you soak it in a mojo sauce because I don't like mojo on the side. You dip it in, makes this bread soggy. I don't like that. I like crunchy, hard bread. I don't want soggy bread. So you marinate this mojo sauce. I do 24 hours. I think the recipe says 8. I do 24 hours. And then
Yeah,
you
fuck
slow
yeah.
roast it, which takes, I don't know the menu off the top of my head, like 8 to 10, like 6 to 10 hours, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Slow roast it. And then I let it rest. I put it in the fridge and it sits till tomorrow. And then I'll make the sandwich tomorrow. But it's a shit ton of butter, and you have to buy a plancha. Like, don't cheat. You have to do it correctly, or it's not going to come out right.
Yeah.
But like, you buy a plancha, you do all the things, and you make it correctly, and it'll be the best Cuban sandwich you've ever had. You got, it's like, don't buy packaged ham off the rack in the fridge. You got to buy like boar's head, like really nice ham, buy really nice Swiss cheese, use Wickles pickles, get gourmet mustard. You know, you got to buy good ingredients, shit in, shit out. You got to buy
That's
good
right.
stuff.
That's
good
right.
Stuff. You know
My
what I mean?
coach, that's what my coach used to tell me.
In relation to
Eating burgers and fries between games on hockey weekends in high school. But I was also like 17. You know, you can eat whatever I want. And
100%.
yeah. Anyways,
I was going to say, what does eating burgers have to do with hockey? But I got you there.
Yeah. You know, nutrition, sports nutrition. Before we go ahead. No, you go. You want to take?
Well, I was going to say we got to cut out because we have another podcast in 10 minutes. But I wanted to, instead of using the pre-recorded commercial for VPA, I was just going to do a VPA commercial real quick.
Do a shout out. Let's do it.
This podcast is brought to you by Vantage Point Archery. Vantage Point Archery makes broadheads that are unlike anyone else. Get rid of that mechanical crap that you've been using forever. It's the first shot you take is the only shot that matters. If you take your first shot in a practice round and you miss, guess what? You just missed a deer. The first shot is what matters. Why would you use a mechanical broadhead knowing that there is a possibility it could fail either on the way or inside of the target? You need to go back to full-on regular broadheads. Vantage Point Archery makes them out of solid steel. The dowel is like a circle, and then they machine cut a broadhead out of it, and they're meant to last forever. You can literally resharpen them and keep using them. Just keep using them. We're going to do a whole video of us shooting things you should not shoot broadheads with. We're going to destroy arrows doing it, but we're going to prove it to you. This stuff is amazing.
Yep. I shoot 125 grain. I love it. It's, you know, it's solid, you know, great quality, made right here in America. Great company,
great people.
Great people. Check out their website. They have several other options and what's the word? Combinations of weight, bevel, and all that stuff. Vented, non-vented, all that stuff. So plenty of options for your setup.
And there is no promo code because you just need to support this company. It's an American-owned company. They're out of Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's vparchery.com. You can go there, look at it. They have everything from 3-blade, 2-blade, single bevel, double bevel, vented, non-vented, multiple weight grains from like 100 to 300, I think. So if you're an FOC guy, you want to shoot a heavy thing up front, they got it. If you want to shoot something more balanced, they got it. You're somewhere in the middle, you want to shoot a 125 like Gus and I do, single bevel, they got it. At least go look. Just do us a favor and go look. You look at it and you think, I'm going to give it a shot. Give it a shot. But at least do us a favor and go look. It's great stuff. And they're great people, and you're supporting an American company. Made in America, all of it. We went to I went to the factory and watched them make it. I can guarantee you it's all made in America. That's all I got.
Vantage Point Archery. Where precision meets, I forget what the tagline is.
Way to do that.
Go check it out.
Yeah. Go do it. We made the switch, and you should too. Especially if you're shooting mechanicals.
Yeah, I love it.
Like,
I like being able to shoot the same. I like being able to shoot the same thing when I practice and not have to change out field tips. I like knowing, having my bow tuned to exactly what I'm shooting in the field. And like Matt said, you know, when I go out and I practice, the first shot I take is the one I concentrate and take my time on the most because it mimics the first shot in the field. You don't
Yep.
get a follow-up. You don't get to keep practicing at a deer. You get one shot. So
One. And it will always be the first shot you take. Yeah. I will use field tips for bags, but if I'm shooting a box or, you know, so I'll use field tips to like play around. But if I'm actually like, this is for real, all right, you're taking a for real 30-yard shot,
Yep.
and I shoot the box, I use their broadheads, and they're still just as good at killing after you do that. It's you got to check it out. And that's all I got. That's all I got.
well, thanks for joining this week. Thanks to our Patreon. Thanks to the Waypoint Network for having us. And as
Absolutely,
always,
you
you
can
can
get
check out our
Hey.
website. Go to whitetails.com and use the code podcast to get 20% off of our products. And you can go to where, Matt?
Patreon.com/Whiskey and Whitetails, and you can sign up for as low as $3 a month, and it'll give you access to our Discord, which we just changed. It used to be $5 to get in there. Now $3 to get you in. Literally $3 a month. You can't buy anything for $3 a month. And
No,
if
but you can
anything,
buy
it gives
access
you
to our kick-ass bike.
well, it gives you
Thank you.
access to people like us that know what the hell they're talking about. And you got questions about gear, you want to get into hunting, you want to get into saddle hunting, you want to get into whiskey, you want to get into whatever you want to get into. There's somebody in there that can answer, and if they can't, we'll probably answer anyway. I mean, we're going to answer, but sometimes they beat us too. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Until next time.
Cheers.
Adios.
Drinking whiskey.